Luffy finally gives Momonosuke the courage to take on Kaido as they have a badass dragon-on-dragon battle. You can practically hear Jeremy Irons in the background having an orgasm.
Let their blood rain from the sky!
Powerful Nerdcast assembles!
Stay dandy, baby. Hello, my friends, and let's go ahead and welcome back the One Piece manga reviews. I'm very excited to finally get back to One Piece. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for it, and I really want to talk about it because things are getting freaking crazy here on Onigashima. That's right, Luffy is preparing for his final battle with Kaido, and he's not alone. He's joined by Yamato, the son/daughter, it's kind of confusing, of Kaido, and of course Momonosuke, who's been aged up, transformed into a giant glossy pink dragon as he prepares to take on the man who killed his father. But before we go further in this review, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed, make sure you're hitting that bell notification icon. It's gonna let you know when all my videos are released. And of course, think about joining my Patreon. You can join all of these amazing people that you currently see on screen. They are the super producers of Ace Guru. But let's go ahead and dive headfirst into this chapter, which is to say, let's take a look at the cover story, which I think is honestly very charming. This cover story brings in the duo of Nami and Leo of the Tontada tribe, which is very appropriate as they are making t-shirts for a couple of members of the Mink tribe, a lion and his little lion cub. What I really love about this is that it's actually a great callback to Nami when she lived on Kokoyashi with Bellamere and Nojiko. The design that's actually going on the shirt of the lion cub is the same one that she had when she was a young child, so it's always good to get a little nostalgic. It's also highly appropriate that Leo is here, considering that his devil fruit power allows him to stitch things, so him and Nami teaming up to do this makes perfect sense. It's all for all just a really cute image. But enough of this cute crap, let's get to dragons tearing each other apart. Well, actually, before we get to that, we do have this one scene where we go back to everybody in the capital who's continuing to have just a really great time and celebrate, and then we have Tenguyama who's reflecting on the fact that Tama left with Speed earlier on. We get to see these events actually happening, and basically it just shows the crazy journey that Tama went on with her brand new horsey friend. But right after this, we finally go to the battle proper. Luffy, Yamato, and Momonosuke as they battle against Kaido, who is still in his massive dragon-like form. And throughout the course of this entire fight, Luffy is doing everything possible to install a little bit of bravery into Momonosuke. Momonosuke wants to take down Kaido, but you can't blame him for being intimidated by this guy who quite literally has the ability to obliterate mountains with one shot of his bolo breath. And that comes to one of the best scenes of the chapter, where we get to see that Kaido does utilize this technique trying to hit Momonosuke, which you would think would be a very easy target. He's a big freaking dragon, but he just manages to barely dodge this move, allowing Luffy to come in with one of his big elephant gun style punches and sending him into the ground as Kaido says hello to the dirt. No matter how many times I see it, I will never get sick of watching Luffy punch the absolute shit out of Kaido's face. This leads to what is probably my favorite part of the entire chapter, where Luffy again is trying to get Momonosuke to do something, to attack Kaido, to inflict a lot of real big damage on him because, you know, he is a giant freaking dragon after all, and this is where Momonosuke desperately decides to bite down on Kaido, which at first seems like it really hurts him. It's not until later where we realize that basically this just pisses him off. While Momonosuke doesn't, like, desperately injure Kaido or anything, you get to see that his bravery is slowly starting to come out in this fight, though, with him basically talking to him while he's biting down on him, reflecting on his mother and his father, which you can tell is definitely getting under Kaido's scaly skin. Before Kaido can react, however, Luffy just comes in and jacks him in the jaw yet again. Like I said, immensely satisfying. I also really loved this one panel where Yamato was reflecting on the fact that Momonosuke was saying in the past that the only way that he could take down Kaido would to become a monster himself. And well, she's witnessing it right here, and I can only imagine that she's really freaking happy at this prospect. As we've already seen, she wants nothing more than to take down her father and to reopen the Wano country. So again, this is just another really great connection between both of these characters. After some dragon brawling, we finally move on to the battle with Inuarashi and Nekomamushi as they're going up against their respective opponents. And so far, they're basically getting their asses handed to them. And the main reason behind this is because the moon has been covered up, so they're losing their Sulong abilities. Although, even though they are getting defeated, I have to admit, I love the spread of Jack and Perospero as they're taking on their respective opponents, with Nekomamushi going up against Perospero, who has created a massive axe made directly out of candy. Sam from Trick or Treat would approve. Earlier, I said my favorite scene of the entire chapter was Momonosuke growing some Dragon Balls and deciding to attack Kaido by biting down on his body. But I think the one moment of this chapter that most people are going to be most excited about is the big clash between Luffy and Kaido. Kaido goes back down to his combination human dragon form, and Luffy prepares to take him on. This entire spread is awesome. I love how on one side you have Luffy preparing to attack, you have Kaido on the other, you have all of the chaos that's going on Onigashima and the capital, characters reacting to all of the crazy declarations from Luffy, who has also sent Momonosuke off to try and stop Onigashima. That was really incredible. I love throughout this entire battle, Momonosuke is transforming so much. He's no longer a coward. He is starting to inherit the ideals of not only Luffy, but also slowly starting to become like his father, which is so thematically important to a chapter like this. But that Luffy versus Kaido clash? Holy shit. In this clash, they pretty much bring their A game. They use the color of the Supreme King Haki, which of course creates a lot of black lightning and a massive explosion, which quite literally splits the entire sky. The clouds themselves part away. Saitama, eat your freaking heart out. This scene was incredible. There's no doubt in my mind at this point, Luffy has officially entered the world of the power level of the Emperors, the Yonko themselves. If there was any doubt before, it has to be dashed away now. Luffy has officially risen to become what is known as the 5th Emperor. Before, it was just an affectionate title. Here, I think he's freaking owning it the entire time. Now, this scene is not only really freaking cool looking, but because the clouds have parted, it has allowed the moon to come out yet again, which allows Orochi and Nekomamushi to go back into their Sulong forms, which looks absolutely terrifying, by the way, as they take out their opponents in one more massive attack, which is incredibly satisfying to say the least, especially for Perospero, because the dude is just such an asshole. It was so great to see Neko take him down. It is a fantastic double spread of watching these characters come together and take down their super wacky opponents. It was just simply badass. But of course, there's another little stinger at the very end of this chapter, showing us that everyone's favorite character, Orochi, is still seemingly alive and around and kicking, and I don't give a shit about Orochi. Will someone just get rid of this asshole? I have no sympathy for this character anymore. He's been killed multiple times and he still manages to come back. His weird devil fruit just allows him to have so many freaking lives. It's unfair. What he's going to do from this point on is kind of hard to say, whether he's still going to try and get revenge against Kaido and burn down the entire island and everyone along with it, mostly predominantly his army in order to just, you know, fuck him over a little bit. It's kind of hard to say. But that's how the chapter ends, and I have to say that this one was pretty damned exciting. So what's the rundown on chapter 1026 of One Piece? This was awesome. I'm so excited to get back to the One Piece manga series as things are really starting to build to something very exciting. We're not only at the climax of the Wano arc, which has been going on for the last couple of years, but we're finally getting Luffy having a really nice one-on-one, well, if you count Yamato and Momonosuke helping him, a battle with Kaido, which I think is really exciting. And I think the best thing about this entire arc has seen the growth of Luffy, where before it seemed like going up against a Yonko or an Emperor was just an insurmountable thing. Something that he could never do, at least until maybe the very end of the series. But this entire arc has done a great job of actually building him up, showing his training, whether it was from some of the memories he had from Rayleigh, or just meeting Hirogoro and beginning to work a little bit more on his various forms of Haki, not to mention the evolution of his Color of the Supreme King Haki, which has made multiple appearances throughout this arc, and you can definitely tell that this is going to be instrumental in taking down Kaido. I think this, in combination with all different versions of his haki, whether it be the observation style or that internal destruction, which I think is going to be very key to taking down Kaido. It's not just going to be a matter of being able to attack him without actually touching him, color the Supreme style, but he's going to have to combine that with that. He's going to have to attack him from a distance and destroy him from the inside. As we know, Kaido is essentially just a giant mass of muscle, and it takes everything and everyone's power to actually damage him and draw blood. So, if he's too hard on the outside, maybe he's soft on the inside. This is what I think is what's going to allow Luffy to eventually take him down. That being said, there's still so many other things that we can look forward to in the coming chapters as we get closer to the climax of this arc. I mean, we still have Sanji and Zoro's fights to look forward to, not to mention a few other surprises with Orochi who decided to appear here. I think it's no coincidence that they decided to show us another weird scene with Tama and Speed. We know that they're here, but maybe they're going to do something a little bit more with them. What that is kind of a mystery at this point, but I think it's going to be really exciting. And then, of course, you have Momonosuke, who may not be incredibly instrumental to taking down Kaido right now. Maybe he will return, but right now his mission is to stop Onigashima. And as a giant flying dragon, he's really going to have to prove himself at this moment. But that essentially leaves Yamato to help out Luffy in this battle, which again, I think is still just as important. And I'd like to see more of a combination of their attacks working together, as they both manage to use very similar haki techniques. And there's just going to be a lot of crazy Black Lightning clashes coming our way. I think they're going to get really exciting. But before we get to that, like I said, I think they're going to focus a little bit more on some of the other characters and their fights that they're going to be doing. And I think that's all really great stuff too. Overall, though, this chapter had some really great moments, whether it was Momonosuke dodging Kaido's Bolo Breath and biting down on him, all the times that Luffy punched him in the face, that amazing sky split scene, that was really awesome, and Inuarashi and Nekomamushi taking down their respective opponents and doing it in such a badass way. I even really loved the cover story this week. I'm starting to appreciate those every single time I see them now, especially because now they're like focusing on all these like main Straw Hat characters teaming up with classics, and they're always really well thoughtful, and they manage to pick up on some of the classic things from the lore of One Piece. So I think that's all really great stuff. Overall, I thought this was a really exciting chapter. It's got me even more pumped up for Luffy versus Kaido. So yeah, very excited. But you heard my thoughts. For me, this is like a 5 out of 5 chapter, but your thoughts may differ. Please tell me what you thought about the latest chapter of One Piece, the evolution and growth of both Momonosuke and Luffy in this battle. What were you most excited to see? Do you have any predictions or hopes and dreams for what's going to happen in the rest of the Wano arc? Let's talk about all those and this chapter. Comment section below. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.